Hi everyone, and welcome back to the London Watch Collector channel. If you've just tuned in to my channel, I'm a watch collector, a watch enthusiast. I'm basically addicted to watches. And on my channel, I'll be sharing my passion for watches using 4K content. I'll be discussing and showing you brilliant timepieces ranging from Seiko to Patek Philippe. So guys, if you enjoy my reviews, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure to click on the notification bell and follow me on Instagram. This week, as you can see from the title, who is London Watch Collector? After reaching 100,000 subscribers, I thought I'm gonna do my very first Q&A session. Basically, this is a follow-up from a video I uploaded 2 weeks ago, as well as on the Instagram post. In total, as of today's date, which is the 21st of April, there's around 600 questions combined between Instagram and YouTube, so that I won't bore you to death, and at the same time I wouldn't end up spending days doing this video. I decided to choose 100 questions, and I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. I'll try to expand on some answers, and on other answers I'll just be giving a one-word answer, and if I missed out your questions, I'm sorry for that. So let's go ahead and start with the first question. So the first one was from Tony Diaz. Glad you're back, healthy and safe. Thanks a lot for that. My question is, what watch started it all and how old were you? I remember one of my sister bought me a nice Fossil watch when I turned 14 and I was hooked ever since. We all have that one that started it all. I'm curious to know which one was yours. Peace and blessings from Upland, California. Thanks for your message, Tony. And of course, everyone has that one watch that started it all. And it also answers the question, which was from Greek Guy, what was the first watch you ever had? The first watch I ever had, well, as far as I can remember, it was when I was 8, I believe, and it was those Nike watches. I guess this is the one it was. When I used to have it on my wrist, I never used to take it off, to a point that my parents used to tell me, you need to give your wrist a rest. I'd refuse taking it off during shower or during bedtime. I remember I used to wake up in the middle of the night and press the light, which is the top left, and then just look at the time and then go back to sleep. I was obsessed since I was a kid. So the first watch was a Nike digital bought by my parents. And mentioning Fossil watches, I remember in school, probably in the 7th grade, a friend of mine had a shiny Fossil watch and I asked him to borrow it for the class. And I remember when I had it on my wrist, I folded up my sleeves up to my elbow so that the watch would actually show. I'm not exactly sure who was I trying to impress, but the teacher actually commented on my watch and I felt over the moon. And I gave it back to him after the class was over and I couldn't get it out of my mind. But yeah, I just wanted to share that story when it comes to a Fossil watch. So moving on, from Jack, how you started collecting watches? Did you start from cheap watches and moved up to premium watches? Well, the thing is, even before I was a watch collector, when I was young, I used to collect all sorts of stuff. Pokemon cards, stamps, books. I remember the Goosebumps books. I used to have like 100 plus, but it all started from a young age when it came to collecting stuff. It did start with cheap watches, of course, but I never really put the trigger on a luxury watch until I would say the age of 25, I believe. I'll come to that in a bit. Let's go to the next one. Do you have any watches on the price range of 150 to 300 bucks? Like a regular Seiko or something like that? Yes, I do, and I have a couple. I have an XKX 007, which cost me around £300, and that was actually quite expensive because it had an aftermarket Super President bracelet, but an XKX would probably cost you between $200 and $300. But yes, I definitely have a couple of watches in those price range. Next question by Rohit. GMT Master 2 or Sky Dweller for Ultimate Daily? For an Ultimate Daily, it has to be the GMT Master 2, and believe it or not, Rohit, for the last, I would say 14 days plus, I've actually put my GMT Master 2, the 16710. I removed it from the Coke bezel and I have it on the LN version now, and I can't take it off my wrist. I've been addicted recently on these neo vintage pieces. It's just a lightweight. The feel it gives you is different from the ceramic Rolex watches. There's something special about the pre-ceramic Rolex watches, and I have been wearing it and enjoying it while being at home. Next question by Ben. What do you think of the Vacheron Overseas? Honestly, everyone knows Vacheron, AP and Patek are the holy trinity. And I did contemplate getting and overseas, but it just did not sing to me. It did not have that wow factor when I actually held it in my hand. Although I do love the bezel on it, I do love the case back, the movement. But having the Royal Oak and the Nautilus, I felt the overseas was too similar. I was contemplating a GMT, but then I got the 5164 instead. But mentioning Vacheron, there's actually a watch that I really love. I've been thinking of pulling the trigger. I just need to go into one of the boutiques once they're back and open and check it out. It's the Triple Calendar 1942. It looks beautiful. Look at the case back. Only problem, it's a dress watch, and I'll leave the answer on the dress watch for another question. So we'll just move on to the next one. What do you think of Jacob & Co. Astronomia Sky watches? Would you buy one day? Definitely not. Jacob is not really my type of watches. It's too big, too bulky, too flashy. It does not suit my lifestyle. I've actually held and seen an Astronomia, but once again, it did not sing to me. Will my taste ever change? Probably not. We never know what the future brings. What do you think about Hublot and Richard Mille? Richard Mille, although they do amazing watches, they're not really my style, does not fit my lifestyle. Too bulky, too thick. And if you see from my watches, I'm more of the classic standard type of guy. I enjoy the classic looks like the Nautilus, which hasn't changed, the subs, the GMTs, the Daytonas, and the same thing goes to Hublot. They do amazing watches, but it's always covered in diamonds and sparkly and blingy, and that's not really my taste. Next, Peter Smith, if you had to pick up one watch from your collection, what would it be? Not considering my sentimental watch from my collection, I would choose the 5712. So the next question is, what is your profession? Or if you don't want to answer the question, you could tell us the direction of what you do for a living instead of saying doctor or surgeon, something is like medical field. Stay safe, healthy, and keep up the videos. I love them. Thank you for that message. So lots of you ask me this question, whether it's on Instagram or on YouTube. What do I do for a living? Or what is my job? Or what is my profession? And I'm assuming that you guys want to know because you want to find out how to live a luxury life or afford all these watches or anything expensive for that matter if it comes to cars or travel, etc. And regardless of what I do, I think the important thing to know is if you put your mind to anything and you work hard, you can make it and you can treat yourself to the things you like. So I could be a doctor or an engineer and I could be doing more or less than others. And the only difference that makes us earn more is the amount of effort you put into it. The amount of work, the amount of creativity. You put it into anything you decide to do, you will succeed and you will make it in life. Moving on to the next question by Olafs. So I answered part 1. So answering part 2 of your question, yes, I did buy it with my earned money and it wasn't for myself, it was for someone else. It was actually for my fiancée, which is obviously my wife now. And it was a nice feeling. And when I bought my first luxury watch, I got the same feeling that she felt, and oh boy, it feels good. Part 3, do you read any biographies? If yes, which one is your favorite? I don't really have a favorite, but I spend most of my time reading all sorts of books, but mostly on horology. It's my passion. It's actually what I enjoy reading and spending my extra time. And part 4 of your question regarding watch books, I would say A Man and His Watch. Or there's another book, which is Every Rolex Tells a Story. I was actually able to find one through my AD. It's a print from back in the 90s. I think 1990 or something, but I'm planning on doing some videos on that because it's actually quite a nice read. It's basically about people who tell you stories and what they've gone through with their Rolex watches. So let's move on to the next question. What was the biggest mistake you've made when it comes to buying a watch? Well, my biggest regret was buying this watch, the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra James Bond Limited Edition. And it wasn't just because I felt it was more of a toy watch, but the reason was when I bought it, it was an impulsive buy. So I went into the Omega boutique. I was interested in the Spectre Seamaster 300, the one with the lollipop hand. It was obviously sold out because there was only 7,007 of it. And the salesman, using his tactics, which was obviously he's a salesman, it's his job, he pushed this watch on me. He hyped it up, telling me it's limited and this and that. And I ended up buying it. I enjoyed it for, let's say, a month and actually gave it to my youngest brother, who is still enjoying it. But I'm sure all you James Bond fans would probably still enjoy this watch. So that would probably be my biggest regret when it comes to watches. Next one from Lucas, congrats for the 100K. What did you want to become when you were young? When I was young, I actually wanted to become an Air Force pilot. And when I finished high school, I went through all the tests and exams and they actually failed me for my eyesight. I didn't have the perfect eyesight, and obviously being an Air Force pilot, you have to have a 6/6 eyesight. But looking at it now, I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been a different lifestyle. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm currently doing, especially when it comes to family, the worrying behind it, my absence from home, etc. Back then, it's everything I wanted to do, but everything actually plans out in the end. Moving on to the next one from Melon. Melon, I always enjoy your comments on Instagram. Thanks for that. What do you think will happen to the watch market as we will likely enter a recession with this current situation? A good question, Melon, and to be honest, I don't have the expertise, but I would say just like the crisis back in 2008, we will recover. The watch market will recover as well. Over the last decade or two, the watch market always goes through hypes, ups and downs, just like the stock market. It will recover. We might see some fluctuation in prices, especially when it comes to premiums. I've already seen them dropping on a couple of websites, but the secondary market, they're not affected as other industries, and I hope for the sake of everyone out there, we recover, not just for the watches, but for the well-being of everyone out there. Next question by Stevie. Many congrats on 100k, great channel, well done. Thank you for that. My question, other than the watches, are there any hobbies, pastimes you enjoy? Yes, I do have hobbies. I would say mostly my hobbies are actually photography, filming, editing, movies and theaters, a bit of sports here and there. I used to be a good sportsman back in the day. Once I got married, it all went down the drain. But I do enjoy the odd football, a bit of basketball. Other pastimes would be horology related reading. I hope that answers your question. Next question by Alan. Congrats on your brilliant achievement. Thank you for that, Alan. Do you think Harrods will discontinue the Harrods Black Bay edition? I'm not really sure. I was told it will be discontinued. From a sales point of view, from a profit or organization when it comes to Harrods or Tudor, it's all about the profits, the amount of watches they can sell. You just do the math. The price of that watch is around £3,000 into 3,000 pieces. That's £9 million worth of selling watches. Initially, they were saying it's 300 pieces. Now it's actually 3,000 plus probably 4,000 as we speak. So maybe once it reaches, I don't know, 10,000, I'm not really sure, but everything must come to an end. Next question by Sam. What is your most sentimental watch? This could be one of your collection or a watch you wish you still had. As you see on the screen, the most sentimental watch is sitting at the throne, and that's the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean GMT. It was my first ever luxury watch I buy and always reminded me of home when I'm not at home because of the GMT function. It being my first GMT watch, first luxury watch. At the same time, I was wearing it when my son was born back in 2019. Next question by Joshua. What color combination would you like for an updated Rolex GMT? Could be old school, could be totally new. Definitely a Coke bezel on a Jubilee bracelet. So basically just like the Pepsi, but on a Coke bezel. And I believe we'll see that in a couple of years, probably 5 to 8 years. Next question by MV Kato. Congratulations and nice to see you back. What is your opinion on German watches, ALS, Geo or Nomos? Of course, I appreciate all three brands mentioned. I haven't pulled the trigger yet on any. The Nomos, it's something to do with the looks of it, the design. I've looked on the website for a couple, nothing really sang to me as much. The ALS, I did like the Odysseus they released back in 2019. I actually like the bracelet, lots of people didn't. I did contact a boutique. I told them that once it comes in, I would like to see it. And they told me it will be somewhere around April 2020. Obviously, with the situation happening around the world, I don't know when I'll be able to have a look at it. But if it does appeal to me, I'll definitely be pulling the trigger. Next question from Delta Charlie. First of all, congratulations on your award. Your channel has not only inspired people, but also has created a different perspective and love for watches. Thank you very much for what you do. No lies, one of the best YouTube channels there is. Thank you so much, Delta. It means a lot. I'm glad you enjoy the reviews. I actually enjoy creating the content. I enjoy the filming, the editing, and such comments like yours actually keeps me going, gives me more of a motivation, and I'm glad I'm able to share this passion with you guys and hopefully will go a long way. So I've answered part 1, the intro song. That's another question lots of you ask me. I'll answer that question in a bit, but someone rephrases it in a nice way. So we'll move on to the next one for now. Why so much steel in your collection? Well, guys, it's all about what you like. To me, a stainless steel watch is a tool watch. It's a watch I can enjoy. I don't see the point, why should I buy a gold watch or a platinum watch? when there's actually the same model being introduced in stainless steel. At the same time, I enjoy the lightweight of stainless steel watches. Of course, being precious metal is going to be heavy. I actually wear my watches all the time except when I'm in the shower or I'm sleeping. A precious metal watch, it wouldn't feel as comfortable as stainless steel. And I feel that if you have a stainless steel Submariner and a white gold Submariner or a platinum Submariner, if they ever come up with one, it's the same exact watch, but you're just paying 3 times the price just for the precious metal. It is overpriced when it comes to the pricing, but in general, stainless steel watches always sang to me. They've always been my thing. I've never bought anything other than that. Will I ever buy one? Maybe a platinum day date. And the only reason for that is because they never do it in stainless steel and they probably will never ever do it. So only time would tell. Next question by Jay. Your passion for watches is amazing. Congrats on more videos. Favorite dress watch and favorite sports watch? As mentioned before, I'm not really a dress watch type of guy, but my favorite dress watches would be the L.W.C Reverso, and I'm yet to pull the trigger on that one and probably will be sometime soon. Only thing is, I know for a fact the watch will not be getting any wrist time due to my lifestyle, the way I dress. I hardly wear any suits once every year or two. So a dress watch doesn't really fit my current lifestyle, but definitely my favorite is the L.W.C Reverso. My favorite sports watch, I would say a Nautilus. I just love the design, the looks of it. It hasn't changed from the day it was born back in 1976. It still has the same looks, the same aesthetics. Even the Daytona, which is my second favorite sports watch. Next by Muhammad, can you do a review of Olus Nardin, ALS, L.W.C, Vacheron, and Richard Mille? Well, Muhammad, the thing is, I only review my own watches. And as I said, I don't see myself buying Richard Mille, maybe an ALS, definitely a L.W.C, maybe a Vacheron. So unless you guys want me to go into a boutique, tell them that I'll be doing a vlog for my viewers and film for you guys, I'm happy to do so. But I don't usually review watches other than my own private collection. But if you guys want to see something different on the channel, I'm more than happy to do so. So let me know in the comments below. Next question by Ben. What would you recommend to an aspiring collector who was not yet able to afford the top-end watches? Well, Ben, you need to set your target. You need to keep at it. Save every month as much as possible. Keep a poster of your watch on a wall, some sort of an inspiration, some sort of a target, so that you won't forget your aim, you won't forget your motivation. And work hard, work your best, and you will achieve your goals. You should never really put any financial strain on yourself just so that you can enjoy a luxury watch. A luxury watch should be put on your wrist to remind you of the achievements you've done, not to remind you of the burdens or the loans or the finance or the difficult times you had to go through. If that is the case, then do not buy a luxury watch. Buy it when you're comfortable. It's a tool to give you self-satisfaction and it's actually there for you and only you to enjoy. Next question by William. Missed you, man. Love your channel and congrats on 100k. Thanks for that, William. My question is simple. What would you recommend for someone just starting out with their watch collection? Can you give a 5k watch, 10k watch, 20k watch, and such? Thank you, William, for your kind message. Very interesting questions. I'm gonna make it simple and blunt. So I'm assuming you're talking in dollars. So $5k, I would say a Speedmaster Moonwatch Professional for that price. A 10k would probably be a Rolex GMT or Submariner. A 20k would probably be an AP Royal Oak, although they have come up in price currently. But if you can get a good one for $20k, that would be a perfect watch for 20k. Next question by Orange Hand. Congratulations, L.W.C. Given your appreciation for the histories of the brands you collect, one might assume you'd have some vintage pieces in your collection. Do you think your collection will expand into vintage, or will you continue to focus on modern and neo-vintage? A very interesting question, and I do own one vintage piece. It's a very special one. As you guys been asking, when will I reveal it? It's gonna be a while, guys, because it has a very, very special story, and I don't feel yet ready to share that with the world. The day will definitely come when I'll share it with you guys. I'm not sure when, bear with me. But to answer your question, yes, I do own one vintage piece currently, and I do see myself collecting vintage pieces. The only problem is I don't see myself enjoying them as much. With the new vintage watches I collected in 2019, the 3 watches you see, I actually wear them quite regularly. And the problem is with vintage pieces, due to the material, if it's plexiglass or hazelite, you worry about banging them. I don't see myself wearing them as much. I actually enjoy wearing my watches, and having vintage pieces, they'll probably sit in the safe, which will actually be a shame. But definitely I see myself owning a couple of vintage pieces because there's something special about those pieces, especially the patina. But I hope that answers your question. Next question by Ice Cream Sandwich. Congratulations on 100k. Do you have any advice for young collectors? A very interesting question and a good one. As a young collector, so I would say you're probably in your teenage years or entering your early 20s. You wouldn't have the responsibilities of a family in the sense of a wife or kids or buying a house. I actually believe for a young collector, it might be a bit easier, party less, travel less, and buy the watch you like. Because once you're married and you have children, you probably start contemplating saying that instead of spending £10,000 on this watch, this could be a school fees, or this could be a nice vacation for the family, or this could be something to treat the missus, or this could be something that I could invest for my son or my daughter. But at a young age, you won't have to worry about that. So as I said, spend less on the unnecessary stuff, save it and buy your first luxury watch, whether it's your first Rolex or Omega or any other brands you prefer. Buy what you like. I hope that answers your question. Moving to the next one by Imran. Your starting music is awesome. Background music is created by you or professional music director? That's the question I said I'll be answering in the beginning. Because of Imran's question, he actually puts it in a nice way. Was it a professional music director? No, it wasn't. I remember when I started the channel a couple of years ago, I wanted something to kill that silence awkwardness in my videos. For example, when I'm removing the stickers from my watches, I don't want it to just be silent and awkward and you guys just hear me breathe. So I wanted to have some music, but I couldn't use any music out there because everything was copyrighted. It took me exactly 3 weeks. I found this website that you can browse their music, their soundtracks, and if you like any, you can buy them and you actually own the copyright for it. And that's what I did. It took me 3 weeks every single day. I was at it for a couple of hours a day, trying to find that perfect vibe, something that you wouldn't get bored of over and over again. I'm sorry if I can't share it with you guys, so I guess you just have to keep tuning into my channel to listen to the soundtrack. If you guys would want to see the full version, which is around 3 minutes, just let me know. I'll upload it for you guys with a couple of nice shots of my watches. So do let me know in the comments below. Next question by Sarah Kitty. Thanks for tuning in, Sarah. I didn't know I actually had any female subscribers. I'm glad you're a subscriber and I'm more than happy to answer your question. What do you think of the half gold Rolex Sea Dweller? Nice or tacky? Can collect. Sorry to say this, Sarah, but I feel it's a bit tacky, but it's nothing to do with the Sea Dweller. To me, all the two-tone Rolex watches are actually tacky because they're not stainless steel, they're not gold. It's a bit of gold, a bit of steel, and it never really sang to me. I would rather it be a full steel piece, or others would rather it be a full gold piece. But the two-tone is in between, and I guess it's all about taste, but my opinion would be tacky. Next question by Jonathan. What do you think of the Tudor brand? Will you buy more Tudors? Tudor is a good brand. It's part of the Rolex family. Will I be buying more Tudors? Probably, maybe the P01. Next question by Alper. You're one of the best people to ask this. Should I keep saving for my one dream watch or buy several cheaper but fine watches on the way? I would definitely save for my one dream watch. But if you're planning on buying a couple, for example, if you're planning on having a 5-watch collection, adding a couple of watches here and there, don't lose focus on your one watch because no watch will actually be able to fulfill that empty space. Something will always itch you, telling you you need to get that one watch. Next question, the Loom Room. Great collection and congrats. Do you think that the Hulk will discontinue or updated? I feel it will be updated, probably with refined lugs, because the green has been an anniversary model from the Kermit back in 2003. I don't see Rolex discontinuing the green, and I don't see them doing anything more special than they've already done to the Hulk. So I think they just have refined lugs, a new movement, and it'll probably sell like hotcakes. Next question by Adarsh. Do you think Omega's quality and availability makes it better choice than Rolex? Omegas are amazing watches, but I feel Rolex is on another level. For example, Omega on their standard watches, they never use precious metal for the indices or your hour markers. Rolex always uses gold for your hour markers. When it comes to the reliability of the movement, Rolex is king for sure. Next question by Jiran. Which of your watches holds the greatest story behind you getting it? It would be the 5164A Aquanaut Travel Time. I've done a video on it. Every single dealer in the UK rejected me, and I was finally able to collect it from the Patek Salon in London. And it was probably one of the most difficult watches I bought, even more difficult than the 5712. A question from Anonymous. My question, why don't you have a Daytona Platinum? The simple answer for that is because I have a stainless steel Daytona, and I don't see the logic behind spending 3 or 4 times the amount just so that you have the same watch but on precious metal. Next question by Watches Journey. If you could only choose one Patek, one AP and one Rolex, which models would you choose? For the Patek 5712, the AP would be a 15202 Jumbo, the Rolex would be the white ceramic Daytona. Next question. Congratulations for your personal achievement. Your videos are really well made. Have you ever considered to buy a Zenith watch? Yes, I have, and I was very close on pulling the trigger. I was in Singapore at the boutique. I was interested in this Al Primero. I was about to pull the trigger and then I pulled out, and I guess I just wasn't ready, and I'm still contemplating a Zenith in my collection, but you never know what the future brings. What is your Grail watch? Do you already own it? The 5712 has always been a holy grail. I achieved my holy grail back in 2018, January to be exact. But the thing is with watch collection, once you own one holy grail, you'll start to have another holy grail. So since then, I have a new holy grail, which is the AP Royal Oak Open Worked, or the Skeleton, the 15407 in steel. And I'm on a waiting list in London. It's already been nearly a year and a half. I was promised 4 years, so let's see what the future brings. I hope I get that watch. That's definitely my holy grail. Next question by Blaya58. A few questions. What motivated you to start YouTube? So my inner circle, which includes my family as well, none of them are interested in watches. My wife wouldn't stop hearing about the watches. And one day I thought, you know what? I would like to share this passion, share the knowledge, gain the knowledge, and just discuss with the world out there. And my wife and my inner circle will actually get a peace of mind because I'll be letting out all my energy on my channel to my viewers, and that's exactly what I did. What is the most important for you in life? That would be family. What would your ultimate 3 watch collection be? I've already answered that. That would be the Jumbo, the 5712 and the Daytona. Thoughts on Baselworld being cancelled this year? I think it was the best decision ever made and turned catastrophic. Next question by Dahum45. Why do most watch collectors do not have Omega watches in their collection? I'm not sure why do you think that, Dahum, because I'm sure every watch collector needs to have at least an Omega Speedmaster, if not a Seamaster as well. I own both a Seamaster and a Speedmaster, and I believe every watch enthusiast out there will have a Speedmaster in their collection at one time or the other. Next question by Chodrum. Congratulations. My question is, you have a great collection and a lot of watches, but out of all of them, which are the timepieces you wear regularly and why? And the pieces you don't wear as often, why don't they get as much wrist time? While having a large collection, I rotate quite regularly, keep half of my watches at home, the other half at the vault, which I visit a couple of times a month. And there isn't really a specific watch that I wear regularly. I'm always shuffling the watches. For example, for the last couple of weeks, I've been wearing the 16710 on the LN, but the watch I don't wear as much as I would like would be the AP Royal Oak Jumbo, because it's a bit flashy, too shiny, more of a dressy look. I wear it every couple of months. Next question by Thanhill. Are you planning on adding a new watch to your collection sometime this year? Also a big fan. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not the type of guy who buys watches online. I need to see the watch. With this pandemic currently, no one's allowed to even go out. The retailer shops are actually closed. Until things go back to normal, I don't see myself buying any watch, but once they do, I'll definitely continue adding watches to my collection. The next question by Edward. Have you had any close calls or actually had watches stolen while in public on the wrist? What measures do you take regarding security of you and the watch? Luckily, Edward, I've never been a victim of crime, or I have never had a watch being stolen from me. But maybe that's because I'm OCD. I'm always aware of my surroundings. When it comes to the security of my home, it's top notch. I have the best securities, including cameras, safe, all my valuables are insured. When it comes to being out in public, I'm always aware of my wrist. If I'm buying a watch, you've guys seen me putting my Patex in a Marks & Spencer bag so that I wouldn't get unnecessary attention. If I'm wearing short sleeves, I'll always have my wrist covered with some kind of a blazer or a jacket or a cardigan so that I wouldn't be targeted or robbed. Next question by Robin. Hi there, how do you see your collection progressing? In what direction? A very interesting question. I would actually love to, and I hope I'll be able to do it. I would like to refine my collection. Having a 25 watch collection currently is quite a lot. If I'll be able to actually do it one day, I'm not really sure. Having 10 or maximum 15 watches would be the perfect number. Some people say there should be 7, one for each day, but 7 would be too difficult. I have a couple of special pieces that I can't see myself letting go of. So which direction? I hope that one day I'll be able to refine it, have it more about the quality rather than the quantity. Next question, how long this YouTube adventure is gonna last? I don't see it as an adventure. I see it more of a hobby. As I said, I enjoy photography, filming, editing, creating content for you guys, something to be proud of, whether it was the inspiration or some sort of a hub for knowledge or sharing. And I see it going on as long as I'm doing it as a hobby. I'll probably stop at the moment I feel it's becoming a burden, because the whole point of YouTube or the whole point of creating content is that's actually enjoyable by me and by the viewer. Next question by Steve. When you wear your really expensive pieces in public, like your Patex, do you ever get stopped by other watch enthusiasts, and are you ever concerned about being attacked for a watch? The answer to your question, Steve, if I'm out with my friends, yes, they'll definitely notice the pieces. But if you're talking about random people out there, no, I never get stopped. The reason for that is because I never have my watch on display. I always have it covered. So I doubt that any watch enthusiast will be able to spot it, let alone compliment my watch. Next question, what's your advice for someone who wants to start a YouTube channel about luxury watches but only had one luxury watch? Well, you need to be different. You need to create content. You should not copy someone else's idea. Be creative. You don't need a large watch collection to be able to start a YouTube channel. You can probably do it without having a single watch. You can always use the online content, for example, photographs, videos, as long as you're not breaking the copyright. So I would just say be different, be creative, be genuine. Next question, congrats, well deserved. What are your favorite vintage watches? I would say the Daytona Paul Newman, an AP Royal Oak 5402, the first ever GMT Master 2 6542. Next question by Mr. Rolex. Hello London Watch Collector, you are my #1 favorite watch channel. I love your content. Thank you for all you do for us and congratulations. Thank you so much, Mr. Rolex. If you could keep one Rolex with a budget of 15K for everyday use, which one would it be? I'm assuming, again, 15K, you're talking about dollars. That would be definitely the ceramic Daytona. Could you do a video reviewing your Mondani books and the tools you use for watches? Thank you so much. Keep it up and stay safe. I've done a video last week. I showed you all the tools I use. The title of the video is If You Own a Rolex, Watch This. Hopefully that will answer the second part of the question. When it comes to the Mondani books, I've actually done a review as well, sometime in 2018, but it's not the full book collection. I might do updated one. Let's see. Next question by SRAL_H. And I think this is the $1 million question. Why do you almost always wear white gloves in your video? First of all, thank you for this question. I got this question numerous times and I'm glad someone has actually brought it up. The reason why I use white gloves in all my videos is because when I'm showing you guys the timepieces, I don't want my skin or my nails to be displayed on 4K resolution and taking away the beauty from the watches itself. The resolution is so good that you'll be able to see even my fingerprints. And I don't want that to take away the pleasure of you watching my reviews. Having it on white gloves, you'll be able to focus on the watch. At the same time, when I'm handling the watch, it does not smudge the watch because of my fingerprints, take away the enjoyment of appreciating those watches under the lens. I want to ask you, how did you make those logos? Do you have machine tools at home? Thanks for this question and I'm glad to provide information. You don't need any high-tech tools. All you need is a good electrical drill, a 6mm aluminum plate. Why aluminum? Because it's soft. It could be drilled through with an electric electric drill, a couple of good needle files so that you can get into the corners, place to work, a studio, a bench, some sort of way to secure the piece when you're working on it. You don't need any machining tools. It did take like 3 times the amount of work, amount of effort, but I guess that's all we have nowadays. Next question by Victor. Dear L.W.C, what is your opinion on Blancpain and Breguet watches? Why don't you have any in your collection? Breguet watches, I'm not really keen on them, but Blancpain, I did have one, 50 fathoms. I bought one back in 2017. I let go of it down the line. It just did not sing to me. I paid around £10,000 for it. It was overpriced, but it was definitely a good watch, but I didn't see myself continue to enjoying it. Next question was, how can I authenticate a watch bought on Chrono24 with all the ADs and shops closed? It's plus 8 seconds after 70 hours and power reserve was like 73 hours compared to my root beer. Would that be enough? Well, my best bet would be take some high definition photos, post it on the Rolex forum. I'm sure the experienced people out there will be able to give their input. If you want, send me some photos. I'll try to give you my input, but I'm not really the professional, but I'll try to do my best. Next question, in terms of quality, is Omega better or equal to Rolex? Is Omega a good affordable luxury watch to start a collection with? Omega is definitely an amazing brand. As I said, it was my first luxury watch I ever bought. When it comes to Rolex versus Omega, I've actually done a review on that. Keep the link in the description below to check it out. Next question by Naman Veer. What is your wrist size and what is the maximum size watch you'd wear on your wrist without being too bulky and disproportionate? My wrist size is 16.5 to 17 centimeter. The maximum size I'd wear would be a 44 millimeter, which is my deep sea James Cameron. Anything more than a 44 is impossible. My Omega is 43.5. The Sky Dweller is 42. So guys, with that last question, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm sorry I didn't answer everyone's question. As you can see, this was the longest video I've ever done. The editing was just crazy. If you guys enjoyed this and you'd like me to do this again or answer the remainder of the questions, do give the video a thumbs up. And for all those who have always asked to see my face, this is for you.